YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Rob, aka DJ Ville, back. 2019 fall suggestions. For those that watch my channel regularly, you know I don't do lists. I just suggest fragrances when I do this type of video. So I've got quite a few fragrances I want to suggest to you guys for this fall. And really, I do it in the hopes that maybe something that I suggest is a fragrance that might catch your eye, something you might want to look into and see if it's, a fragrance that would fit into your fragrance wardrobe. So that's really the purpose for me doing the videos, and to like just keep my content out there, try to stay relevant if possible, but I'm not really mainstream, so to speak. So I just do it for the love of it, whether I have 10 followers, 500 like I do, or thousands of followers, I'm going to do it for the love of it. So let's get into it, see what I've got, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Stay tuned. So, incredible fragrance I picked up, and I don't use that lightly or say that lightly. This is from the House of Elie Saab, and this is Essence number 8, Santal. Incredible sandalwood fragrance. I'm not the biggest sandalwood fan, but this is incredible to me. It's basically this really smooth, creamy, almost milky-like sandalwood, but I don't mean that milky in a bad way. It's just got this smoothness that it's just so refined. It's just, to me, well blended. It smells very well blended. It's got this really nice sweet apricot note in the beginning, and it's also got some vetiver and a few other notes, but kind of simple. Sandalwood is definitely the star. Performance is incredible. Smells very expensive. It's hard to find this one. I want to say there are about 9 or 10 fragrances within the Essence line from Elie Saab. I think this one and the Tonka are the two hardest ones to find. I just copped this one, either from Fragrance X or Fragrance Nat, and I want to say it was like 85 bucks. If you can score this fragrance, I really think you would be highly satisfied with the bang for your buck that you get with this one. Essence number 8, Santal, Elie Saab. A note that's kind of outside of my wheelhouse as far as what I like as the primary note. That note is patchouli. Not the biggest patchouli fan, but I know patchouli is in a lot of fragrances that are in my collection, but it's never really like the main player. But this fragrance, I copped. I've had the opportunity to wear a few times, and I can't tell you how much I enjoyed this. Way more than I ever thought I would enjoy patchouli. All right, and the fragrance is Incident Diplomatique from the House of Javoy. All right, this is primarily a patchouli and vetiver fragrance with some citrus in the opening. I think there are a few other notes, but really the patchouli and vetiver are the primary notes, with patchouli being like the lead and maybe vetiver being like the co-lead. Rugged, masculine. This fragrance performs like a monster, and I only put on one spray. Honestly, one spray. I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed smelling myself with this fragrance. I just kept smelling it for hours, and I was like, wow, I really like this. I really like this. And it's really like a earthy patchouli. It's got that sweetness to it, which is almost like patchoulis can have like this chocolatey, like a chocolatey type vibe, but it's just really earthy. It's really rugged. It's really smooth the way they did this one. There's no rough edges. Great fragrance. If you can cop this, and this is something that you think might be up your alley, check this one out. Incident Diplomatique from the House of Javoy. Taking it back just a little bit, a fragrance that It's one of my starter fragrances, one of the first fragrances that I got, like the first 5 fragrances that I picked up when I started, getting fragrances way back in the 80s. And I really think that this fragrance is one, if niche heads were able to cop this bottle, which is like an original bottle, or cop like the smaller splash bottle, you would just enjoy it so much. It's a niche quality fragrance, but it's a designer release. Believe it or not, it's from the house of Perry Ellis, and this is Perry Ellis Cologne for Men. This fragrance is just so incredible to me. It's kind of got like that typical early to mid 80s masculine feel, and it's got some of the usual players. It's got oak moss, it's got it's got cedar, it's got carnation, some other notes in it, but it's got this really nice smoky incense that's really thick and heavy. It kind of reminds me in a sense of Interlude Man by Amouage. Not saying that they smell alike, but something about the smokiness of this fragrance kind of reminds me of Interlude Man. And this is just really a well done fragrance. I don't know if it's something that a lot of the younger cats would really love, because it doesn't really fit into the modern box of the like metrosexual sweet type fragrance. It's kind of like a very masculine fragrance, but I really think it is all purpose. You can wear this for more than just like what typically this would kind of fit into a formal, type fragrance. I think if most people smelled it, they would think formal, but I really think this could be casual also. I just really think it's a well-made fragrance that is timeless. I really think it's a timeless fragrance, even though I know a lot of folks won't feel the same. If you can cop it or get a sample, which might be hard to do, but when I'm speaking on this, when I'm talking about the vintage formulation, it's been reformed a few times, even in this type of bottle, the 5.0. But if you can do a little research and you check into this one, I think a lot of cats would really like it. Perry Ellis for Men, or Perry Ellis Cologne for Men. Incredible release. I want to say this came out in like 85. Check this one out. Staying within like the kind of smoky incense vibe. This is from the house of Palzolari. This is Viaggio di Africa. I've had this on a few lists for a few years, and this is just a really well done vetiver and tonka type fragrance with some like smoky nuances. And actually, the older my bottle gets, the more the smokiness comes out. If you don't like smoke, don't get this. But it's got this dryness to it that I've talked about, often. It's just refined. It's got just enough sweetness, just enough vetiver, classy. You can wear this, definitely to the office, but I think you can wear it casually also, believe it or not. If you've never tried it, if you can get a sample, do it. I don't know if this is still in production. I actually believe it's no longer in production, but I know bottles can still be found. So if this sounds like something you might be interested in, check it out. Palzolari, Viaggio di Africa. One of my favorite fragrances from 2018. Okay, this is Zadig and Voltaire. This is him. Really well done vanilla fragrance. They've added some things to it, so it's interesting. They've added like lemon, it's got a little bit of pepper, it's got a little bit of incense. Vanilla really is the primary note, but a little bit of smokiness, so they made it a little darker. And it's got a little bit of dustiness to it, but just a fragrance that I thoroughly enjoy. I think it was one of the best releases, one of my best pickups from last year. I can't recall the exact year it came out, but if you've never checked this one out, do yourself a favor, check this one out. This is him, Zadig and Voltaire. From the House of Parfums de Marly, Pegasus. This has got like heliotrope, vanilla, lavender. Vanilla's the star of this fragrance. It's got like this metallic accord that I know a lot of folks don't like. And I kind of think that comes from like that cumin. There's cumin in this also, and I think cumin kind of reacting with some of the other notes kind of gives it like a metallic feel. I could be totally wrong, but that's just kind of what I think. I know that's the accord that a lot of folks don't like when I hear them talk about this fragrance, the metallic accord. But something about the metallic accord for me kind of makes this an interesting fragrance. And I'd rather it have the metallic accord than have like the BO accord that typically I think cumin can kind of give a fragrance. So performance is great. I really enjoy it. I think it's enough to the left for like a vanilla type fragrance that I really enjoy it. It's got some character to it. So if you haven't checked this one out, check it out. Pegasus from Parfums de Marly. Really incredible fragrance from the house of Zaharoff. All right, this is Zaharoff Signature Pour Homme. Really nice fragrance, really well done. It's got this really nice pear note in the opening. It's got like lavender, it's got some oud, it's got cardamom. It's just really blended. There's no real rough edges to this fragrance. This fragrance is just, to me, a great smelling, all-purpose, truly masculine fragrance for today. The only knock that I've heard people make is performance. People will typically say they get 4 or 5 hours. To me, it's like about 6 hours, but I mean, what do you expect? I don't know. I think it performs well on my skin. I think it could be, if you have to reapply it, but it's a great smelling fragrance. I have no qualms, and I highly recommend this fragrance. So if you've never checked this one out, I'm starting to see a little bit more buzz on the internet about this one, or on YouTube about Zaharoff. So if you haven't checked it out, check it out. Zaharoff Signature Pour Homme. One of my favorite fragrances in my collection currently, Valor, Robert Graham. All right, I love the note of sage, and this is basically like sage, amber, and some coffee. And to me, coffee doesn't really stand out that much. I mean, I get it, but it's like sage is the prominent note for me, and some of the amber gives it the warmth. But I really enjoy this fragrance. You can cop this fragrance like around $50. If you've never checked this one out, you got to check this one out. Again, this is another fragrance that's like a kind of a classic masculine fragrance, but it's very modern. And I really think most guys over 30 would love this fragrance. If you're under 30, I still think you could like it, because the sage note is a note that, to me, that doesn't really have like, it's not really tied to a particular era of fragrance. You know what I'm saying? It's not really like you can tie sage to like 70s or 80s or 90s. Sage is just like this really, I think, a note that's really timeless, and I don't really feel like it's really tied to anything where it becomes dated. So if you've never checked it out, I highly recommend this one. This is Valor from Robert Graham. Listen, I really believe that there's room for fun and fragrance. There's no need to be so uptight all the time, folks. So this is a fragrance house I've been checking out as of late. They do a lot of blend fragrances, and that's like the going trend currently. This is a fragrance that I kind of stumbled upon, and I really think it's a fragrance that works if you're going out to, you're gonna be in a party, you're going to clubs, bar and grills, etc. I think it's just one that works, and I think it's one that would garner a compliment. All right, so if that's something that you're into, I think you should check this one out. And this is from the house of Dua Fragrances. This is Choco Poseidon. Supposed to be a blend of chocolate and pineapple, or chocolate and Aventus. It's got like a chocolatey Aventus type feel to it. It's nothing new, it's nothing groundbreaking. Aventus has been out for a while. I know most folks are tired of hearing about Aventus, but I think this is a fun fragrance. I think this is a fragrance, if you go out and if you were to walk past a group of ladies standing at the bar, they would definitely take notice of this fragrance and would probably get them to say, what are you wearing? Or, start a conversation. So it's that type of fragrance in my, humble opinion. So if you are interested in something like that, check it out. And you can get them at about, I think they're like $60 to $65. And this is like a 30 ml Choco Poseidon from Dual Fragrances. Kind of staying in that vein. All right, there's a fragrance that I think also would be a great club fragrance, and this is Armani Code Absolute. This is basically like tonka, vanilla, you know, in that mode, sweet, metrosexual type fragrance that would work great at the club. Performance is incredible. I've worn it a couple of times with a few sprays, and my wife was like, wow, that fragrance is really, really strong. You know what I mean? So I think it's a crowd pleasing fragrance. You know, it's got a few more notes than just, you know, tonka and vanilla. I think it's got like some leather. It's supposed to have like a little booziness to it, but I don't really get the booze all that much. But it does perform, it does project, it does, you know, leave a nice scent cloud. So if that's something that you're into, check this one out. I think this is another cool fragrance for that type of situation, and one that would garner you some compliments. So Armani Code Absolute. Killer leather fragrance from the House of Davidoff. This is Leather Blend. This is basically like leather, amber, saffron. I don't get why this fragrance doesn't get more praise. I mean, and it's as far as leather, I think it's more of a suede than just like a cowhide type leather, but it's just a really well done fragrance that I think that more people should be talking about. And if you like the leather note, you should check this one out. As far as bang for your buck, I think that's one of the main reasons why I speak highly of this fragrance, because the bang for your buck factor is off the meters. This is what you can get. You can cop this fragrance for about, I think, 68 to like 79 or 80 bucks, somewhere in that ballpark. Incredible value for that amount of money. It smells very high quality. Performance is good. And to me, I just love the way this one smells. So if you love the leather note and you're looking for something at a reasonable price point, check out Leather Blend from the House of Davidoff. I think you would really enjoy it, okay? From the House of Maria Lux, this is Mogadess. All right, I've had this featured before. This is really like a spicy, sweet, almost strawberry-like note that's in this. And it's almost got like a aromatic vibe to it. I actually had this on a tester and had my daughter smell this fragrance a little while ago, and she was like, it smells like herbal tea. And I never really got that, but then I really started smelling it, and I was like, yeah, I do get that, because my daughter is a huge tea fan. She drinks tea like 24/7. So as soon as she smelled it, she was like, this smells like tea, like a herbal type tea to me. So it does have like, you know, a herbal like nuance to it. There's a lot of notes listed for this fragrance, but it's the strawberry note, the cardamom, and the like spicy cinnamon are like the notes that stand out the most, but it's got more than that going on. If this sounds like something that, you know, you might like, you know, check out Mogadess, Maria Lux. One of my favorites of all time, Exerius Rouge from the House of Givenchy. It's like a warm sweater or a scarf, man. Honestly, this is just like, it's got musk, it's got vanilla, it's got spices, it's got like a pimento note. It's just, it's sexy. I think it's better than the original Exerius. I just really feel like they amped it up. This is like the original formulation, the original bottle. I recommend, if you can cop it in this bottle. I've got this 1.7, but I've also got the 3.4. One of my favorites of all time. Great for the fall. Givenchy, Exerius Rouge. I'm gonna go a little left, and I'm gonna recommend the OG Aquatic Kenzo Pour Homme. I had this on a list some years ago. To me, this is a perfect aquatic fragrance for the cold weather. It's got this pine to it that kind of makes it feel like it fits better in the cold weather. Plus, it's got the salty sea notes. It's just a really well done aquatic that, if you've never checked this one out. It's not your typical So kind of go into it with an open mind, but know that it's got a heaviness to it that works better when it's cooler, in my personal humble opinion. All right, Kenzo Pour Homme. From the house of Jean-Paul Gaultier, Le Male Essence. I really like this one. This is, you know, a denser, darker version of the classic, in my opinion. You know, it's got that leather note. Of course, it's got the vanilla. It's got lavender. It's just, I just really enjoy this one. And, you know, I'm gonna definitely probably have to end up getting a backup bottle of this one because I can see myself going through this one pretty quickly. I really like this one. And if you've never checked this one out, check it out. All right, Le Male Essence from the house of Jean-Paul Gaultier. I want to give you guys a 2-for-1. 2 fragrances that I think are kind of similar, both incredible, could be great signature scents. All right, Ormond J. Man and Lalique Pour Homme. All right, I'm not going to get too much in detail about the fragrances. They both share cedar, but they've got notes that are different. Where Lalique has got lavender, all right, and I believe it's got rosemary also. This one's got vetiver. This one's got iris, and this one's got cardamom. Incredible. Both are incredible fragrances. Both just smell so elegant, so refined. Ormond Jane is a little bit more expensive though. You can cop this one like around 30 bucks. Ormond Jane is gonna be over 100 bucks. I wanna say probably like about 130. So there's a big difference in price point, but smells are in the same neighborhood. Smells are in the same neighborhood, and they're both incredible fragrances. I think the Ormond Jane is smoother all around, but this one is no slouch. So again, 2-for-1, you know, depending upon where you sit financially can, you know, determine, or you can get both. They both would work in your wardrobe, all right? 2 incredible fragrances, Ormond J. Man, Lalique Pour Homme. From the house of Dior, great fragrance. This is Fahrenheit Absolute. I don't believe this fragrance is no longer in production, but you can still score a bottle if you search for it. This has got the typical Fahrenheit DNA, the violet, but it's also added some darker notes. It's got incense, it's got myrrh, it's got some oud in it. Great fragrance for the fall. If you've never checked it out, if you can get your hands on it, I highly recommend this one. All right, Fahrenheit Absolute. I've got a few more, but I'm gonna cut it right there and just say, hey guys, I thank you for checking out the video. If you sat through the whole video, thank you so much. If you've never subscribed to the channel, I would ask that you would subscribe to the channel to support the content I put out. Feel free to, you know, like and share it with your friends. And I hope everybody has a safe, blessed, pleasant fall season. And I'll talk to you soon.